Welcome, everyone, to our third episode of Create a World in this new year, 2024. I am Elizabeth Geyer, and I am one of the collaborators for Create a World. And we're really happy to be here with you this morning. I'm honored to be with my friend today, Melissa Bingham. And before I introduce her, I want to say that if you are finding us here on Create a World for the first time, I'd like to share a little bit about how Create a World came to be. We've evolved Create a World in the last 3 years through a group of collaborators in the field of Tantra Mat, which is a global online community. And some of us have been together for years and years, and we're a community that is committed to seeding new futures rising. And we're committed to the restoration of experiencing life here on earth as paradise. We have some foundational principles that we operate within that include everything is part of everything else, everything operates on behalf of everything else, everything is in relationship with everything else, everything has a place, which is my favorite. Everything operates on behalf of life and has us exist as whole. And everything is always moving to the next greater whole. And today, we're going to give creative stillness and pause a place. Because right now in our world, it's quite chaotic. It's both chaotic and exciting at the same time with these new futures rising. So, Melissa Bingham is going to take us into a more quiet and introspective place today to pause and be in that stillness and also be in a creative space of living our lives authentically. So, Melissa is the creator of Everyday Living with Intention. She's the author of 2 volumes of Today I Choose Daily Intentions to Guide You Through Life. And she's the host of Today I Choose, the podcast. So sit back and relax in our conversation and activity today as we talk of metaphysics and meditation. And we invite you, if you have questions, to place them in and participate with us in our conversation. So I have been fascinated, Melissa, lately. I've been working with you. You and I just recently had a play date
We
where
did.
we created these amazing vision boards. I have mine sitting right in front of me, and I use it every day. And and you have yourself in so many fascinating spaces these days. And so I'd like to know more about your journey as a meditation and living with intention guide, and also about what you're dabbling in as this amazing entrepreneur these days and how you've made your choices as to what you're being with. So tell us more.
That's a big question, Liz. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me on Create a World. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Um, I was born into a family that was steeped in metaphysics, and so it's been a part of my upbringing and my entire life. And I've evolved and changed and learned and grown and connected more and um, really developed my relationship with source. And I've always said that so the you said I'm an entrepreneur. So I had an event marketing
Mhm.
company for about 15 years. So event planning, production, fundraising, marketing for corporations, nonprofits, a few individuals. I worked prior to that in the arts, in marketing and different things. And so I always kind of had my spirituality, my practices as what I always called as the underpinning of everything that I did. And then in about 2011, 2012, I decided to make that more the forefront of what I was doing. And I became a licensed spiritual practitioner through Centers for Spiritual Living. I started teaching and leading meditation and working with a couple other spiritual teachers and working with them on both the business side of things and then on the coaching and the meditation and the intuitive guidance side. And so in 2016, I decided that I had young children, and I decided it was time to, I really needed to focus. All this stuff I was teaching out there to other people, I needed to make sure I was teaching in my house. And so I hit the pause on a lot of that external work and really turned it all back kind of in to our family. And so, yeah. And then then they've, gotten older and grown. And so I really started working with this idea of intention. And intention to me is probably a little different, and I think about intention a little differently than a lot of people do, because intention to me has to do with hearing the whisper of your soul, the whisper of your higher wisdom and your guidance, or the wisdom of that whisper of God, of source, whatever that word is for you. And it all to me comes back to stillness. And I remember this voice talks to me, my guides, my whatever we call them. I feel like it's over here on my shoulder. It's on my right side. The kids were young. We were I'm shuffling off to some activity, and the whole family was in the car and I was in the passenger seat. And I remember things were frenetic, right? You've got lots of activities, and I'm working and my husband's working, and kids and cats and grandparents and the whole the cacophony of crazy, right? And I just remember this like whoosh, hearing the voice say to me, your job is to find the stillness in the swirl, and that's what you're to teach. And in my head kind of goes, huh. And, and I was just like, okay, okay. And so like that just, so this idea of finding stillness in the swirl was born. And that was probably in 2010-ish. It's been like 13, 14 years. And so that's when I started leading meditation. And really I might have meditated since I was in my early 20s. So a really long time. Not to date myself, but it really, meditation was so hard for me in the beginning, because my mind, and still, 30 plus years later of meditation, my mind still goes blah, 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 blah. Yeah, yesterday. So I have this Facebook group, and I've been setting a daily intention for the last 13 years with the words, today I choose. And that was another voice that came to me, which I can talk about in a second. But this yesterday, my intention was to calm my racing mind, because and I meditated in the morning and I meditate in the afternoon, because it's like I need to get myself grounded. And I practice primordial sound meditation, which was taught through the Chopra Center, and I've also been trained in transcendental meditation. And then, as you know and have experienced with me, I basically mushed it all into something, and I've kind of made my own form of meditation. But one of the biggest parts of my meditation practice is I spend a good 5 minutes making sure I am grounded and connected into earth, connected into source, before I ever like start into whatever kind of mantra I'm doing or whatever. But really it is that idea of the as above so below, and that connection of above and below, and getting that really vertical alignment is so important to me, and finding that stillness. And really it's, I think about it as like the yin yang symbol, and I'm going to be that center point. I'm going to be the center point in the yin yang. I'm going to be the center point in the spiral, and I am the source space, right? And if I am still in that source space, I can hear the voice of source. I can hear my inner wisdom. I can, we can give it lots of words, but it is getting to that place of stillness where I can hear what is right and true for me, and that is my truth, and then live from that place. And that then is where I hear my intention. So that's a little bit.
Yeah, that is beautiful. Yes. And as you were doing the so above, so below, it took me back to um, salt floating yesterday,
Mm,
magnesium salt floating, and just finding the so above, so below. Just yes, being in that center point. And I've been using your intentions daily as well, and they really help. And then when you said grounding, I went, oh yes, the ground wires.
yeah.
So one of the ways that I find that is I literally picture a ground wire. I went on Google a while ago and found a
Mhm.
ground wire that resonated with me. And so I picture that, and that
Yeah.
is so important
Well,
for us to be
it
there
is,
first.
and I mean, I do a lot. Of, I in my meditations, I talk a lot about grounding cords. But one of the things that we both live in Northern California, and there are these amazing redwood trees and sequoias, and these trees with this ancient wisdom. And I'm fortunate on my property to have about 8 or 9 redwood trees, and so one of the ways that I help people that aren't as familiar with meditation and grounding practices is really using a tree and thinking about the fact that you're growing your roots down and anchoring into Mother Earth, and your arms then become you're reaching up and you're allowing that light of source, that sunlight to come in and nourish and fuel you and fill you with that golden light of possibility. And I think having part of it, where the feedback I've gotten from, and I lead meditation for theater people. I lead, I have a theater group that I lead meditation for with every cast they bring in. I have a lot of their podcasts. There are 30 some odd meditations on the podcast. I lead a weekly, and I used to lead a weekly meditation. I do a monthly meditation now. But helping, having people that aren't as familiar, really have something to anchor into, like a visual image of a tree, like a grounding wire, all of those things. Because I can talk grounding cords coming out of your root chakra, and people are like, huh? If they don't know the language. So I've really tried to make it as accessible for people. And I've worked with it with my kids, and that's that. This whole idea of family ritual is something it's the next big book that I'm writing is all about family ritual. And so it is that idea of finding ways for people to connect into their own stillness in a way that is accessible for them, in a way that they can hear it and get that connection point where it's not too, where some people are going to think it's too airy fairy, or they're going to think it's, oh, I can't do that. And I also say, to me, I mean, there are lots of techniques for meditation, and there's no one way, to me, that's perfect and right. I mean, you have to do what works for you. Moving meditation, staring at a candle. There are lots of different ways. I like, so when I do my meditations, it's a kind of combination of guided meditation and then periods of stillness. And so that's what, yeah.
Yes. Yes, I can really relate with the redwood tree because that's one of my main symbols, and
Mhm.
uh, it's one of my favorite trees. And we have some here near where I live, and I taken a picture of one, and it's on my screen every day. I wake up to that, which is really nice. And I just place myself in the core of the tree,
Yeah.
and that's another,
Yeah.
yes, that's another way of for me to ground myself and have that. I love how you said have that light come in.
Hmm.
So it's yeah, so for each of us it's whatever works for us.
Yeah.
Um and our trees are, I mean, they're such amazing communicators and conductors
Right.
as well,
Right.
um of so much.
Yeah.
Um so you've also talked, I loved how you said that you are becoming still enough to hear the whisper of your higher self. And you also talked earlier, in conversation about joy, fun, and beauty. So
Yeah.
say a little bit more about that.
So in 2021, we had a cacophony of things that really took me out of my stillness for a big chunk of time. And so I, worked with my amazing evolutionary astrologer slash therapist, and we came to the conclusion that I was going to hit the pause button and take a year of play. And I basically stopped doing everything because I needed to take care of myself and I needed to commune with my redwood trees and I needed to play. And I was doing photography again and painting again and doing more creative writing, just and lots of things. I just needed to take care of myself, right? And I was fortunate enough I was able to do that. And out of that, this idea of play and like trying to find the lightness in things. And I came out of it saying, well, I'm just going to extend it to a life of play, not just, a year, which actually turned into 18 months, but it's going to be this idea of play. And so, you said we had a play date. I would much rather go to a play date than a workshop. So
Yeah.
that's my buzzword. I'm like, I'm having play dates. So I've got another fun one coming up in February. But the lens that I am holding things through and look at everything I do in all aspects in all areas of my life, does it bring me joy? Is it fun? Does it add beauty to my life and the world? And if the answer is no to any of those questions, I don't do it. And and I was thinking about it. I was moving. We have an extra washer and dryer at the moment, and I was moving them around yesterday because I they were the feng shui of my garage was not working for me, and every time I walk out there I got angsty, and I'm like, okay, I can fix this. And I literally I went like, does it bring me joy? Is it fun? I'm like, yes, it'll
Oh,
bring me joy because when I walk out there I won't be pissed every time I like walk in the garage. And is it fun? I'm like, yeah, it was kind of fun doing this little wiggle trying to by myself move a washer and a dryer. And did it bring beauty? Yes, my space looks so much better. And so, I mean, it's like, it's the mundane. I can find the joy, fun, and beauty in the mundane. And then I can find the joy, fun, and beauty in going to Williams Sonoma and teaching cooking classes. And that's like the most fun I've had ever. But it is like trying to hold this in this place of how do I bring joy, fun, and beauty? Because I you know the world out there is a little, so I want to do everything I can to keep myself grounded and connected and keep myself in knowing, for paradise to me is living in joy, fun, and beauty. And so I'm going to do everything I can to bring that into alignment every day. And so and be that example for other people, and help other people to try to get to what is it that's joyful, fun, and beautiful for them. And if it's something that maybe feels tweaky or heavy, it's like, okay, well, what could you do? I'm always asking my husband, well, how could you hold that lighter? How could you hold that in a way that would be fun for you? What if you made a game of it? What if what's going to bring that lightness of spirit that then, because it does allow you to get still, because there's not the wheel in the mind going crazy, or the anxiety or the tension in the shoulders, pulling your shoulders up to your ears. It's like, let's bring it down, and let's and dance and giggle and have some fun. I mean, life's too short. I didn't come here to work. I came here to play and have fun and connect. And that's it's we've been sold, in my opinion, we have been sold a bill of goods that this is work and punishment, and no. Come on now.
yeah,
I don't think the redwood trees
exactly.
think that. I don't think the mountains think
No.
that. I don't think the ocean thinks that. And like, let's get, so that's how, I don't know, that's how I want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my creative mind had you dancing with your washer and dryer yesterday. I
Yeah,
could
I
just see
totally
that
was dancing with
just
my
kind of
washer and
sting.
dryer.
I think that's oh, well, it's funny. It's
Yeah,
joyful. I mean,
yeah,
it is definitely joyful, and that's really helpful. I'm going to be helping one of my children move again. We're on phase two tomorrow, and as we walk up the stairs,
yeah,
we'll have some music playing and,
exactly.
you know, and
Yeah.
and just have fun with it.
And it's not
Yeah.
to say that there's not heavy stuff and there's not,
Yeah.
you know, and I don't want I mean, I honestly, I don't care what people think, but I don't want people to think for themselves that, oh, well, my stuff's heavy and my stuff, and I get it, it is. And all I'm just inviting people to think about is, and inviting in, okay, show me is my favorite question to source, to spirit. Show me how to hold this a little lighter. Show me a path through that would be more joyful. Show me what's mine to do in this situation, and be in that place of openness to where you can get back to hearing those whispers of the soul, and hearing that voice, or what, sometimes it's loud. Excuse me.
Yeah, definitely. I know that I keep hearing right now, I've heard the word permission,
Hmm.
that there are so many of us that feel we need somebody to give us permission to be lighter these days, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and we don't, you know, it's important for us to really just be in the pause, to sit with ourselves and get ourselves into a place of where we know that we will bring beauty to ourselves and to others. So definitely.
Yeah.
So
And I
what I
really, hang on, I want to say one
yeah,
other
go ahead.
thing, if I can.
Yeah.
Um, I think part of why so the reason I started this whole Today I Choose and Everyday Living with Intention, um, ultimately was to quiet all the other voices, to quiet the voice of doubt, to quiet other people's judgment, to quiet, and to me, that is really where, I want to hear my truth. I want to know what is right and true for me, outside of anybody else's teaching, anybody else's opinion, anybody else's word, anything. I need to hear, I need to be in direct alignment with source. And that's what's, and so in my practice of Today I Choose, that's what that's about for me, is being in that daily communion. And I honestly, my belief is we're never unplugged, but we get all these filters and these things in the way, right? So it's getting to that stillness to get to hear that place. And I heard, the whole Today I Choose thing came out of me hearing, I'm a writer, I was blocked, I couldn't get myself to write anything, and I was sitting on an airplane leaving Key West, Florida, and I heard this voice say to me, write one sentence a day and start with the words Today I Choose, and then listen. Listen. Don't think it. Intentions to me are something that like bubble up from my gut, right? Or they drop in. And so I'm listening for what those words are. And then I write it down just to be witnessed, just to have a record. And some days I fall flat by, 2 seconds after I walk out my bedroom door. And then other days, it's like I've been trying to do a lot more reflection on the back end of the days, and trying to work with my community on like, it's great, wake up, set your intention, and then forget about it. Or, wait, what if I come back at the end of the day and say, oh, wait, how did that show up? And just being aware of that. So,
That's
okay, I think
beautiful.
you were going to ask me if I would lead a meditation. Is that where you were going,
Yeah.
right?
How did you know?
I had a
But
little
no, I love
inkling.
yeah, I love that. I love what you just said. I mean, that just really set everything up beautifully.
Yeah.
I love the bookend concept, of yeah,
Yeah.
setting our
Yeah. And
day and
so,
then
this is
Mhm.
my book. There are 2 volumes of it on Amazon, but it's a part book, part oracle, part journal. I mean, you can use it where it's basically 365 days. So I'm going to just hold it in my hands and say, okay, what do we need to know today? So I opened up to August 14th. So when you look at, this is what it
Oh
looks like. I
wow.
mean, it literally is one sentence a page. So if you don't like to read a lot, it's a great book for you.
Yeah.
But it's more in that like page a day calendar kind of idea. And
Ooh,
it's got a lot of white space, so you can use it as a journal as well. And so on August 14th, The intention is today I choose to lean into kindness and compassion, especially when it feels hard to do. And so there are
Perfect.
those intentions, and you can take them for yourselves, or you can, write your reflection on it, or you can write your own intention. And so it's just kind of a fun little.
It's beautiful. Yes, I have mine sitting right here on my desk, and I open it up every day. Same thing. Sometimes I say, okay, I want to see what today is that it is actually, and then other times I
Yeah,
just do the opening thing. So
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah. And I have
really
a Facebook
helpful.
community of over 700 people that write. Um, you can find the book on Amazon, or if you're close to Sonoma, California, you can get it from my garage. So, and the Facebook
That's
page,
cool.
thanks for the prompts. The Facebook
Yeah.
page is called Everyday Living with Intention. Um, so yeah, it's been going for a long time, about I think 8, I can't remember how many years. Anyway, but we have over
And
700 people that set intentions. And
do you do live? Do you do live on Facebook or is it
I do sometimes. I'll do live broadcasts.
okay?
Right now, my meditations, they're the podcast episodes that are out with meditations, and then I'm doing a monthly new moon meditation that is a subscription, and that's what I would love to do our meditation around this morning.
Oh,
So
good.
for so one of my other, I'm also part of the 13 Moon Mystery School, which is Avalonian priestess lineage that Ariel Spilsbury founded. And she wrote the book and the oracle deck, called the 13 Moons, and it is the 13 archetypes that she has downloaded of the divine feminine. And so this year, 2024, I'm taking people on the new moons. I'm introducing each of the archetypes. And so this month of January, we started with the Great Mother, whose color is burgundy. Thank you, Liz, for wearing her burgundy. And her mantra and her message is, I surrender, I receive. And that to me is, I connect. That's probably the strongest archetype of the 13 that I connect with, is the Great Mother. Um, so how about we do a little meditation? Sound good?
That'd be great. That
All
sounds
right.
perfect. All right.
Well, if you're listening, if you're driving and listening, don't do this. Listen later. Would just be my one disclaimer. So, all right, I'm gonna invite everybody to just get themselves comfortable in their chair. I like to sit in a chair when I meditate, partially because I can't sit in lotus, but also I like to have that my feet on the ground. And so just push your feet into the ground a little bit. Feel that you're being supported. And let's just gently close our eyes if you haven't done so. Start to slow your breath, taking a big deep breath in. Exhale. And just imagine off to your right hand side, there's a beautiful basket. And whatever's on your mind, your to dos of the day, the activity, anything that's heavy on your mind, just go ahead and just set it over there in that basket. It'll be there when we're done. You can pick it up then if you need to. If not, you can just live in that beautiful basket. And as we're tuning in, I just invite you to let thoughts and let anything that goes through your mind just float into that basket. It'll be there when we're done. Continuing to deepen your breath. Just do a scan of your body, noticing if your shoulders are tight. Maybe shrug them up, roll them back. Your hips need a little adjustment. You need to stretch your calves. Just whatever you need to do to be comfortable. Invite you to just gently lay your hands on your lap with your palms facing up. On your next inhale, I just invite you to just take a deep breath in. And on that exhale, just imagine just right out of the base of your spine, just drops a beautiful golden cord. It drops down through the chair or whatever you're sitting on, drops down through the floor of the building, into Mother Earth, into that deep, dark, the beautiful dark soil. And that golden cord just travels down through the layers of Mother Earth, right into her core, right into the heart, the center of the planet. And there it finds a beautiful quartz crystal heart. Pulsing with that crystal clear light. And just allow that cord of yours to connect right into that crystalline heart. Feeling that pulse. Wisdom. And on your next inhale, I just invite you to draw up some of that earth energy back up that golden cord, allowing it to travel back up through the layers of earth, through the beautiful, rich soil, back through the floor, right back up into the base of your spine, coming into your body, imagining that part of that energy just splits off at your hips, turns and travels down the fronts of your legs, right back out the ball of your foot, right back into Mother Earth, creating this beautiful grounding circuit. Taking a few breaths, feeling deeply anchored in her wisdom. And allowing some of that earth energy to travel up that chakra column, up through your belly and your solar plexus, and allowing it to just rest right in the center of your heart chakra. Turning our attention to the top of our head, just allowing that 1,000-petaled lotus flower to open and send another cord straight up above, just pulling you a little taller, just out through the ceiling of the building that you're in, out into Earth's atmosphere, out into the Milky Way, past the galaxies and galaxies and galaxies and galaxies, till it comes to the field of infinite possibility, the golden stream of all that ever was, ever will be, that source of pure potential. And that grounding cord just plugs right into that field. And with your next inhale, we just draw down Allow that golden light to just fall back down through that cord, past the galaxies, through the Milky Way, back into Earth's atmosphere, down through the building, right back into your being. That golden light, just like melted butter or honey, just begins to fill every cell in your body, every strand of hair, down through your forehead, every cell in your brain, your eyes, your nose, your neck, your shoulders, and your arms out to your fingertips. Just allowing that golden light to fill every cell, every muscle, every atom, every quark and leptoquark. Down through your torso, your hips, your legs, your feet. And just imagining that that golden light just spills over and fills an arm's length all around your being, encasing you in that beautiful golden light of infinite possibility, of pure potential. And with your breath, just envisioning that light travel back down that chakra column, down past your third eye, in your throat, right down into your heart's chakra, that heart center, where it combines with that earth energy to make that beautiful yin yang symbol, with you standing at that center point. As we take a few breaths in that moment, into that space, we surrender to our own truth, to our own wisdom. We open to receive what is ours to know. And we gently let go of any need to think about that. And as we steep ourselves in a few moments of stillness, I invite you to just repeat the mantra, I surrender, I receive, just to give the mind something to do. Just a gentle whisper of I surrender, I receive. I'll mind the time as we sit in a few moments of silence. You can gently release the mantra. Just breathing into your heart. Just ask your heart, what am I surrendering today? Just listen. If you hear something, great. If not, maybe you see an image or a color. Taking a deep breath, sinking a little deeper into that heart space. Asking, what am I receiving today? Taking another deep breath in. Exhale. Just asking your heart if there's anything else that it wants to share with you. And just listen. Feel into the stillness. And just knowing that if nothing showed up, or even if it did, that you've planted those seeds. Just notice today what else might show up with the lens of I surrender, I receive. Bringing our hands to our heart, taking another big deep breath in, feeling the chest rise, exhale, feeling it fall. Just bowing our heads in gratitude. Gratitude for this time we've given ourselves, this time we've taken together. Dropping your hands, gently beginning to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Stretch your arms up high if you can. Deep breath in, exhale. And when you're ready, opening your eyes and gently coming back into the space.
It's wonderful. So needed. Thank you so much.
You're
Uh,
welcome. You're welcome. Did anything show up for you?
um, I uh, kind of a Tai Chi move, just the forward and the backward. And I was taken to Mount Tamalpais, actually, which is, for those of you who aren't in California, a beautiful mountain we have on the coast. And there was mist, and I could smell the earth, and just be grounded in that. And so the message was just to be with, just, to be in that both and just to be with what comes, and not yeah, just to be with it and
Mhm.
take it in and be calm. And yeah, I feel so much better. Yeah, it's not spinning.
Yeah.
It's not swirling
You
anymore.
you're finding the stillness in the swirl.
Finding the stillness in this world. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. multisensory experience for sure. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I'm loving your new moon meditation time. Uh, it serves it serves very well and has a beautiful thread of color throughout the month. Uh, Throughout each month, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's I've been in that practice since about 2013. And as the years I've ebbed and flowed and how much I infuse the archetypes into each moon cycle, and that, there is a color, there's a scent, there's a sacrament, there's a whole thing that goes with it. And one of the things, the easiest way, and I know you did this because you're wearing your scarf. I have scarves that are the colors of all of the archetypes. And so if I'm in, and there are days that I like say I want to embody the wise woman archetype. Well, her colors are black and white. And so I can do that pretty regularly because I have a lot of black and white. But there'll be times I'll just even, I'll tie my black and white scarf to whatever bag I'm carrying that day, just as a reminder. That's, it's all of those. They're like little magic seeds or little magic moments that, the things that are, we can just help keep us remembering our truth. Because I think there's so much out there, right, that wants to pull us off our center or pull us off our truth, or it's, that the muggle world, as I like to call it, makes me a little batty because I'd much rather play in the world of, yeah, I'm sitting here at my desk and I'm looking at a cup, I'm looking at this pin, and I've got a cup that says magical, and I've got a big, huge crystal over here. I've got a gnome on my computer, which Liz and I have the gnome thing. I'm holding my
Yes.
beautiful blue calcite. It's the way, how can you infuse all of that magic with you? I think about Tantra and the dragons in the yard. I think, it's like everywhere I go, it's like I want something, I'll almost always have a crystal in my pocket, just as that touchstone to keep remembering me to come back to center, to come back to stillness, to come back to my truth. And it doesn't matter what anybody says or does or whatever, and I'm going to find the magic in wherever and whatever I'm doing. And for me, that magic is finding the stillness and the swirl, connecting to today I choose, and doing everything from that place. It was the underpinning of my being for so long, still is, and I'm making it much more overt and much more there.
Yeah, and I love that authenticness, that being
Yeah,
just being our truth.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
it's 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 so important right now.
Yeah,
And it's fun. It really is fun.
yeah,
You've been talking about whimsy, which is,
yeah. That's your word.
that's one of my words for the year. Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when we can see things in that light, it's a beautiful thing.
and I mean, to get really real, I will, I mean, there's heavy stuff in my life right now. My husband doesn't have a job. I'm dealing with Cobra insurance. With, if anybody's done that, oh, more
Mhm.
props to you.
Yep.
It's a whole thing. But just all, and so, like, there are all these things that, but I'm not gonna let all of that external goo pull me off of my center and what I know is right and true. That I know that in this moment, I have everything that I need, and I am connected to source, and I am grounded in my truth, and I trust and know. It's back to that question: show me what's mine to do, show me my next step, show me, and I'm gonna have as much fun and play. And I want beauty, I just do. That's, pink is my color this year, that,
Yep.
that's why I'm wearing my pink.
Yes.
I don't go anywhere. I mean, again, like those touchstones, my necklace says today I choose, because I have that mess. And it's funny because I find, and I'm doing it a lot more, I find myself, I'm touching it constantly, and it is that touchstone. It's that, you know and I'm listening for my guides, I'm listening for that inner wisdom, and trusting it. And I'm constantly saying to Dave, how's your gut feel? What's it feel in your gut? I teach my kids, how do you what where does what's it feel like in your belly? What's it feel like in your solar plexus? What's it feel like in your body? And that is all part of my practice and part of the stillness and part of the intention.
It's
So
beautiful. I mean, you've given us so many tools today, um, that we can all take out and use very effectively, in the middle of our day. I love the idea of the crystal. I haven't. A lot of my pants don't have pockets,
tuck it in your
but
bra if
even
it's
putting it in
little.
your yeah.
Seriously, I
Yeah.
have found unique ways to
Yes.
carry crystals. So,
That's great.
and I always have black tourmaline in my purse. What I mean, it's so funny. My kid and my kid when my kids were little, um, they'll be like digging through their backpack and they'll find pieces of black tourmaline, or they'll find, it's like they were like, and even when they all went to college, every desk they had, I'm stashing black tourmaline or I'm stashing rose quartz in their desk. And like my son texts me later, he's like, Mom, seriously? I'm like, yeah, get over it. Just it's this. I'm doing this for me. Not really, but alas. So,
Yes.
I know there was a question about signing up for the new moon meditation, and yes, you can
Mm,
sign up for the whole year. I think it's if you sign up, you'd get 2 free moons, free. It's like 133, or you can just do it by moon, and you can do that at todayichoose.me / meditations, and that's my website. My website's not 100% up to date, but it's getting there. So it was really up to date before I took my play break. But and then I just started releasing some new podcast episodes. I have a friend who is a chiropractor and a writer and acupuncturist, and she has been on a healing journey through um, tattooing her body. And it's a
wow.
really, so we're doing a conversation called Tea Times with Melissa and Tara, where she is
Oh, yeah.
introducing some information of introducing her book that'll be out. It's called Talking Tales of the Tattooed Women, which is going to be out next year.
Oh,
So,
oh,
but if you,
wonderful.
but if you want to just hear two crazy ladies banter, it's hilarious. So, and there's
Oh,
some
how
nuggets
fun.
of wonderful wisdom in there. So,
That's
yeah.
great. And just real quickly, you had said something about another play date next month.
So if you're
What's
in
in the mix?
Sonoma, we're going to do a self-love. It's called the Love Yourself Playdate at the Sonoma Community Center here on the 17th of February at
Okay.
1:30 to 4:30. So, and if you want to like learn more about what I'm doing, if you go to todayichoose.me, you can sign up for my emails there, and you'll get a video about how I set intention, which is kind of leads you through a practice about intention setting. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so
Yeah.
excited. I feel very fed, and I know that those who are on with us have been as well. Um,
Right.
I want to thank you so much for taking this time
Yeah.
with all of us, and I I I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and
Thank you.
weekend and
Yeah.
an amazing year full of joy and beauty and fun.
Fun.
And uh, I look forward to learning to play more in my own life.
Yeah.
And excuse me, I invite all of us to uh, to do that as well. So take care of yourself
All right. Thank you.
and
Grateful.
thank you.